Microphone check. Too far away. Microphone check. Why are you so far away? My pen works a do. My buttons worked a minute ago. But now they don't, because we're about to start an effing show. Can't think of why at all. If they'd stop working now. But they do. Make sure all the channels are connected. I said test. Check mark, check mark, check mark. And on the screen. Alright, I think it's working. But why? Why did the button stop working? Didn't change nothing. Just left the room and came back. But that's the way it is when you're streaming. Things seem to work, and then they stop like you was dreaming. There's no other buttons. There's no other anything that I did. I'll restart again. That still does something. Alright, I'm down here. Hey Ripley, what if I click here and then press the button? No? Nothing? Nothing at all. Alright then. You got any answers? You got any answers, sweetest Angel? Anything at all? No? Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, no, that's no help at all. I'm just gonna throw it back to this for a second. And I just got nothing. I got nothing. Where did my mouse scroll to? No. How about you? No, definitely not. No, it can't be that. That's crazy. I just don't know. I just don't know. I got nothing. Ah, well. Hey, Space Scooty. No, it's technically the same as last week, except the button thing where my buttons wouldn't work was working again. It was all working. And then it just stopped once I got all hunkered in this position. But I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Okay, that's still running through there. Alright, never mind. And then we just have to go Apple tab. And intro button. No, intro button. I said Apple tab, OBS, and intro button. Ripley. What? This is... Ripley! Start the stream, Ripley. Okay. Same as before. Apple tab. Ripley, where are you? There's the police. That's normal. I can see that's plugged in. This looks like it's still plugged in. I already hit the stream start button, Ripley. Play the intro for the love of... Alright, I'm just gonna press it manually.
Tell your friends,
Tell your friends,
and tell your hot mom. There's no such thing as grownups.com.
Alright, Ripley, I'm gonna press the button again. I better see your stupid face. Okay, now it makes no sense that it's not working. There you are. What was that all about? Ripley! Yeah, over here. What's going on? Do you even care? Oh, you and your little smile. That makes everything all better. Alright then. All is forgiven. And let's see how far we can go before phlegm fills my head. Hey! Hola! My name is Curtis, and this is No Such Thing as Grown-Ups live stream, where we either draw sexy dinosaurs, or some comic strips, or sometimes whatever I feel like, because it's my show and my channel, and that's why I have a show and a channel. I still don't even know what that means. Do you, at my actual job every day, I probably shouldn't say this without people saying, hey, be better at your job. But like, just yesterday or Friday, whatever it was, I so often make alerts specifically for gift subs, gifted subs, gifting subs. I still to this day don't understand. Is it who's gifting? Who gifts the subs for to enact an alert? I just don't understand. I just don't understand. So is it that particular streamer gave you a subscription for free, basically? Like he gift subbed? He gift subbed you, is what you're saying, right? Or she, or they. There we go. Because, I don't know. I should figure that out one of these days. Alright. Ah, that makes sense. That's crazy. It's a weird community. I mean, it's a very giving and usually forgiving community. Occasionally, it's a hate crimey community, and that's what we have. Grandmaster Patty Prue and his RoboCop Sword of Justice, you know, smiting those who decide to fill the chat with hate crimes. Anyway, this is a YouTube show. That way I don't have to understand that. There we go. Crisis averted. Button check? But I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm still holding a baby Fanta kid. I mean, it seemed like a great idea at the time, and it was real fun and adorable. I mean, I went through a lot of trouble. I stabbed the adult Fanta kid in the back. We made a whole backstory about it, and that was a good time. We all had a great time last week. But seriously, I'd rather have my red shirt back and no baby Fanta kid. I mean, again, big adorable eyes. That's great. But, you know, can we go back to my other idea of shaking this thing up and seeing if it'll spray across the room, do some spins, take some bets on 360s? How many 360s do you think this thing will get? Yeah, that's super scientific, and no, that's not what we're doing. We're not shaking up babies. That's not what we do here. That's not what we do. We get angry about all kinds of mundane and nonsensical things, but we don't shake fake babies or real babies at all. Anyway, like I said, my name is Curtis. This is Milo over here. You can read about our adventures if you follow No Such Thing as Grown-Ups on Instagram, and every few days or so I put up a comic about us, and that's what we're doing here today. Over the weekend, everybody's got a cold for the weekend. I did one of these deals where I'm like, hey, let's meme it up a notch. There we go. Let's flatten this table out. Camera 3. There we go. And so yeah, I threw it together because in you know, my justification was I'm sick. I don't want to draw. I can't come up with any ideas. Actually, I thought I started this one like Thursday or Friday, And I was just like, this is my idea. I'm just going to copy and paste a meme picture like everybody else and still get away with some content just like that other one that's way more effort than just copying and making content. But I'm just going to do some copy and pasting. There was going to be more to it, but I genuinely was just like, Dayquil, NyQuil. Which one did I take? I should have turned the light on in the bathroom. I'm pretty sure I had an idea for this. I've got an idea for this. Oh, snaps. I'm going to have to get out of this chair and go over to that chair. And then I'll end up in that chair. And I'm like, whoa, sucks over in this chair. I'm going to go back to that chair. Oh, you know what's better than this chair? Bed. I'm going to go back to bed. Maybe I'll finish this later on. And somehow that turned into... oh, man. This one, where I'm just like, I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. And all I could think was like, okay, this requires no drying. I covered myself with blankets. And it's like, I still have to draw the blankets. Like, I still have to do the thing. I can't just, just because you're covering up a drawing with stuff, you still have to draw the stuff within the drawing. I'm not taking a picture of blankets. And then, which I should have done. Another one I should have, but again, I'm not taking pictures of myself while I'm rotting with a cold. So Milo was all like, you need to make a comic today. And I'm like, I have a cold, leave me alone. Because cold voice is Milo voice. And then Milo's like, I'll help. The punchline could be, Billy Zane. That's a super funny name. And it's a guaranteed laugh. And then I'm like, is Billy Zane in my room? And Billy Zane says, no. And ideally, he would go, wink, ding, if it was animated. But I'm not going to animate all of these things, because that's why I do this, because it's a break from animating things, but I still get a cartoon out of my system. And I mean, isn't that what everyone's trying to do? We're trying to get the cartoons out of our systems. We have all of these Looney Tune ideas in our heads that we're trying to get down on paper in some way, shape, or form. Everybody's paper's different. Somebody's paper might be like, I gotta start a minor league hockey team. Like, all right, whatever. That's your Billy Zane. We all have our own Billy Zane. And I know I started by saying a cartoon, but I think it's more fun to think, hey, we all get a... It's so stupid. I don't know. We all have to get out our inner Billy Zane, not our itty bitty Zane. Oh, man. So anyway, once the cold medicine started to wear off, and this was already on the internet, I was like, oh, good. Thankfully, I called it cold medicine, so that way you can see where this came from, because this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense until, what? You try to go to bed, or you go and you lay down, and you're like, you know what makes things make sense? Prequels and sequels. And 0.5 sequels, like the Lion King 2.5 there, or 1.5, whatever that was. So I came up with like another, it could maybe just be 4 panels. It's kind of written as if it's like 4 pages to explain the magic that is Billy Zane, and instead of making him a throwaway non sequitur, really non-punchline at this point it's just a, hey, Billy Zane's in the bedroom. I'm gonna explain how you get a Zane floating around in your world. Oh man. Okay, does this work again? Let's try this. No, I don't oh, it's because I clicked. I see why this part doesn't work. So if I do this and then do this. Okay, that's working. Now you buttoned yourself over here. Now go back to your other camera. Don't tell me what to do. And hey, camera, don't cut ahead of time while you can still see this moving when you should be seeing that. And then this camera. I did, just to make sure my sinuses stayed a little more clear, drink a mouthful of Dayquil before starting the stream. Great idea. That's exactly what I was going to do, Rips. Thanks. Ripley is, of course, behind The scenes with her magical iPad of dreams, controlling all of the cameras and the things. My buttons have nothing to do with anything. That's just me trying to make myself feel important. Like when you give a kid a set of buttons and it's like, hey, you're helping. And they're like, I am helping. No, you're stupid and you're a child. You don't know anything. And also taking back rips. Everybody's RIPing and dropping rips on stuff. Make it a good thing again. And make it about bringing things to life, which is what Ripley the Sweetest Angel does. Major Penguin is still off to the side, but I don't know, it's just weird having him there. Doesn't this feel great? I have so much more room without him around. But he's still got his own camera. Skylar 217, hey, how you doing? You skying down from heaven. You don't sky, that's the wrong verbiage. It's not really a verb. Looking for fly. Anyway, hey, what it do, etc. But yeah, there's Ripley and whatever. And the other thing that I was playing with, the only reason I was like, yeah, I'll leave this in here because my buttons were working. Like I said, my quick buttons were working. My Ripley was on point. Let's talk more with my hands. Anyway, yeah, I got to do the Billy Zane comic before we get to the next one. I wrote a bunch of pages, just notes in my phone, but we'll start making some comics. But yeah, my whole thing was like, I can be blah blah blah, bling 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 blah to this camera. Hello, Patrick and Space Goody. How are you today? Hey, is it Skylar? H. I really kind of wish that H was a little further over, or it was Skylark. I don't know why. It doesn't matter. It's probably your real name and not just a handle. But hey, Skylar, how are you today? And then I could be like, but also, oh, I had to look down though first. Hey, Space Goonie, how are you? I set up the other camera, but I accidentally clicked to it earlier. So excuse me. Pointless. This is not a. This is the more formal camera, though, with all the things. But I was watching a show there the other day that was like Birdman style, all filmed so that it's like one continuous shot. And there was one shot where they were just like sitting there, and I'm like, oh my god, this is killing me. They have to cut to another camera so bad that I went and I grabbed this camera out of the drawer here and I plugged it in. And I'm like, but I can't see my monitor, so I have to assume that I'm actually looking into the right camera now until I cut to the other camera back over here. And in theory, that all went smoothly. But that's you know, fun with production value. But we could talk about stuff all day long. Hello, I'm not Lucio. Oh, why not Lucio? So let's draw something. Let's probably draw something instead of talking about things for 9 hours. What if you want to talk to me for a minute first? Did you take into account that the Dayquil is not going to help your throat? To do a bad voice. Yeah. No. You're going to have to stay off for a while. That was definitely a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake indeed. Cannot find the drawing camera. Here we go. Too many buttons and too much Dayquil. Jam. Alright, so I'm going to click back down here. And for the new people, a bunch of comics. Like I said, nosuchthingasgrownups.com, all the links to all the channels and the live streams and the Instagrams, etc. I'm not Lucio. Luquio. So, start with some text. So as always, I just grab some text from the last one, paste it over here, and then I type over it. So in today's wonderful episode, before we start drawing stuff, we'll see how many panels this turns out to be. realizing that I've got the 3-panel system set up right now. Maybe you will be. I don't know. Let's write a comic first. Let's write a comic. Hey, what the F are you doing here? I forgot to take Major Penguin out of this camera. But there he is, floating around. He's everywhere you want to be. Everywhere you want to be. I'm not Lucio, thanks for the follow. Here I am, I'm over here. Is it easier or harder to do the voice when you have an extenuating cold circumstance in your sinuses, Sarah? Stop calling me Sarah. I think harder. I think I'm trying not... Anyway. Why? What are you even doing right now? Just draw some effing pictures. Alright, enough with the Fs. Enough with the Fs. Okay, seriously. I'm just enjoying my buttons. Just enjoying my buttons. Because once I start drawing, then my buttons are useless. My buttons are useless. Alright then. Back to drawing camera. And let's write a comic. If I can find a pen. If I can find a pen. If I could write this way, I would write all the words I want you to share. So, first off, I'm going to be talking at Milo. And I'm going to be like, that don't impress me much. Caps lock, haha, ... as if we're mid-conversation and you didn't get to hear the first part. That doesn't make any sense. And Milo's like, I don't care about your sense. No. That doesn't make any sense over here. And instead, let's start with Milo's explanation. Which goes... Okay. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. If you say his name, he will be there. Now, I'm going to swap the where and when. Doesn't matter where. Doesn't matter when. Just for a little bit of rhymetude. Actually, in this case, I will add a ... as if this is the end of an explanation. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter where. If you say his name, he will be there. With great power comes a great lack of Xanth making and then I say to Milo, saying Billy Zane doesn't make Billy Zane appear. And then, oh, snaps. Actually, so, basically, we're explaining the origins of the magic of Billy Zane, in that if you say Billy Zane's name, Billy Zane shows up wherever you are, whenever you are, and it doesn't matter. Now, this is just going to be the beginning of this, and I'm going to do a multi-panel thing, but as I write this, I'm like, this isn't going to be a late stream. It's not going to be a late stream. I'm sorry. I realize I'm not Lucio, and Skylar might be here for the first time, but every Tuesday I'm talking at people's face. Every Tuesday I'm talking at people in the face, and we'll do some more, and I'll do some more over throughout the week. What the? There's a giant fly in here. It's wintertime. Where did that fly come from? So, I'm going to do a bunch more panels after this one that will still be within this strip, and I might change some of this dialogue, where basically Milo and I will keep saying Billy Zane's name, and Billy Zane will keep appearing in the different panels until the Billy Zane is like, guys, I got stuff to do. And possibly one panel or a few panels where it's dark, and then Milo turns on the light and I'm asleep once again, and Milo's just like, Billy Zane. And Billy Zane is like, in like a Scrooge sleeping outfit, and it's like, it's the middle of the night, but mostly just Billy Zane appearing here and there until he gets frustrated with it, leading to an eventual epic saga battle where Milo and I have to save the universe for some reason, and somewhere somebody, probably Ripley most likely, maybe even Major Penguin, could just be like, oh, snaps, my buttons. I could come in and say, excuse me, Sarah. Remember to heed the words of the past and think of the future, for it's all a cyclical circle, my friends. And time is a Mobius strip, but things from the past can also help if you remember them properly. This quizzical queer, and then I'll be like, shut up, you're never any help for anything. Wait, but if we remember the thing about useful characters in our life, the opposite of Major Penguin, Billy Zane, Billy Zane, Billy Zane, and then a bunch of Billy Zanes will show up. If everybody says Billy Zane, everybody gets their own Billy Zane, and Billy Zane is like, what? Hey, high-fiving himself and whatnot, and then the Billy Zane army helps with the other thing that enacts in this universe, that is, again, just notes in my phone and not a comic strip yet. So things I don't want to reveal until the comic gets bigger. Camera. Alright, so in the land of drawing, make believe, blue brush. There we go. So, as per usual, I'm standing around like, duh. I don't believe nothing you say. How do you recognize a lazy artist? Hands in the pockets, hands in the pockets. Drawing those hands in the pockets instead of using them to emote. And then a little Milo, he's all like, hey, hi, these are my facts about William Zane. And every comic's drawn differently. Every comic's never the same. But you can have some blueberry waffles if Space Goonie is your name. 'Cause Pat's heating up waffles in the waffle iron or the toaster. I don't know your waffle game, but I'm sure you've got a waffle roaster. Egos for Legos and Legos for days. Making up some theme songs in no particular ways. Don't stop. What layer am I on? What's going on here? Oh, that's wrong. All right. Jump. Jump. Copy and paste, copy and paste. Has the same taste if you copy and paste. So instead of Milo saying shh, or does it? No. There we go. Instead, yeah, he's basically, well, only in that instance if you get a bunch of people saying at the same time, and mostly he just goes wherever. He's just kind of everywhere at once, but he's not actually multiples. Only in that one epic thing. Maybe we'll have to add a magic crystal to solidify them all. So instead, Billy Zane's gonna be all like, shh, don't tell him. Even though you're telling him. Oh, Billy Zane's gonna be helpful. I mean, he can be. But it's purely up to him. I started to make a note somewhere. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this other than it's just a side thought. Maybe I was just going to do it as like a post, but I thought it would be pretty funny to have Billy Zane, have Billy Zane's side story is that the thing that he's busy with is trying to get the prequel stories about his character in Titanic, like, oh, like what made him be a bad person? Like he used to be a good guy, and trying to like turn this character around into not just being the Shooty McCrazy. Where are you, Billy Zane? Oops, nope, nope. Billy Zane's head, Billy Zane's head. Grab Billy Zane before he is dead. This text a little bit. I bet you thought I was dead, Rose. I see you talking to your Bill Paxton-y friend here. Well, no, Rose. I want that Coeur de la Mer still. I wasn't dead. I wasn't dead at all. I had my own door, and I didn't count on you to keep me afloat. I held myself to that door, thinking about the Coeur de la Mer. I don't know if Coeur is the fur. I know there's a de la Mer in there. I do like that when you look up pictures of Billy Zane, not only do you get a bunch of pictures of the mummy from The Mummy, which we all said again and again and again, fought with all of our friends on various standpoints of that mummy is Billy Zane, right? And just like, I don't think that's Billy Zane. Like, no, that's definitely Billy Zane. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not Billy Zane. And I genuinely, I'm pretty sure I was on the side like, no, that's definitely Billy Zane, even though it can't be Billy Zane, but it's got to be Billy Zane. So you look up Billy Zane, you get a bunch of the mummy pictures, but you also get a lot of pictures of, Billy Zane and the guy who played the mummy, whose name I will never ever know, even though I was just reading it just a few days ago. And with both of their names under each, just like, see, not the same person. Then like 5 more pictures that just say Billy Zane with a picture of the mummy, like turning into the thing. Cut. Paste. Do. How big is this brush set to? Oh, way too big. That's why. Yeah, close enough. Close enough to be Billy Zane. Too small. Say brush. Alright, I'll leave you on that layer anyway. Oh, there it is. 6. 8 it is. I'm trying to think if there was any stories throughout the week, but pretty much since last stream when I was like, what's going on? I need to blow my nose. I can't be getting a cold. And then from that day until now, I was pretty much like, oh, I've got a cold. I think I did. draw anymore. Let's just put your arm down, Billy Zane. And wrong layer. And wrong frame. Close enough. So then, clean up the rest of these turds. Okay. Try desperately to think about actual stories that happened, or even hilarious things I watched on the TV, instead of the things I actually want to talk about, because I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There's got to be a way. Got to be. Let me Apple tab real quick. Hey, what if you talk about that other thing that's like the happy version, like the good thing that people are doing for the thing that you want to be upset about, instead of talking about the upsetting part for a half hour? You know, because there's like that other thing that you're like, oh yeah, that thing happened. Good idea, idiot cat. Good idea. People are... Nope, gonna drift into the bad stuff first. I was gonna do a comic strip, and I'm still gonna do it eventually, about the fact that everyone's racist. Everyone's... Oh, no. Everyone's racist now? Did that work? Yeah. Everyone's just racist now. Hey, other camera, can we talk about how everyone's just racist now? And I don't even mean like, hey, everyone's a little bit racist. I mean like, hey, everyone's a little bit racist, but they're also like, hey, you know how normally somebody would say, did you say that terrible thing? And you would refute it to your like, oh my God, no way. I would never say that. Blah, 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 like politician style. And now it's like, no, yeah, like I put it in writing and I put it up over here, so it's like saved and stuff, and so people can show it around all the time. And I'm just like, I thought, nope, wrong button. I thought people did, you know, there's certain darknesses that you hide, right? I mean, yeah, I made a show out of my nonsense darkness, but when your darkness is offensive to so many people, like you don't just broadcast it. You don't broadcast it, do you? But yeah, people are broadcasting it, and I just don't even understand. Like, to the point where I'm like, I was like, the comic I was just gonna write was like, I had like a few different versions in my head, but one was pretty much, I'm maybe just scrolling through Facebook or something, or I'm just scrolling through an iPad, and you can just see like from this view, you can't see what's on the iPad, and maybe just motion lines and little words that say scroll as I'm scrolling, and then Milo is like perhaps behind me, watching in abject horror, like, what kind of disgusting things must I be casually looking at on this iPad? And then, you know, the joke is, of course, like, you know, Milo's like, what is that? Like, why are you so looking at terrible things? I'm just like, oh, I'm just checking Facebook for a second. And then something like, when did Facebook become completely racist? So like, oh, I think it's always been this way. I think they just turned off the racism filter or something. But same deal. I couldn't quite come up with the cleverest way to do it. But mostly I was like, oh my god, like this. If I make this little comic, it's going to offend so many people. So many people are going to get offended by this comic. And I mean, this is like, let's say 4 days ago, I was thinking this, 5 days ago. And today, it just kind of hit me to a point where, like, I had to message somebody, like, "Argh! Argh!" And I'm just like, I don't even know. I was like, I just realized I wasn't going to make a cut that's just a broad stroke that just says, hey, the internet's awful racist lately, because I'm like, I don't want to upset these people that are being so racist. It's like, why do I care? They don't care that they're, like, upsetting everyone and then just, you know, spending the day fighting about, like, I'm actually right. I think you'll find I'm actually right. That race of people doesn't deserve clean water, and I've got to get to work, so, you know, let them die? Who cares about their feelings? Like, come on now, like, no, you're a person that I've known in the real world. What is this? What? And I mean, just weird things like that, where it's just like, hey, don't be a hypocrite. Like, you know, if you're not okay with all the stuff, like, then turn off your heat. Like, that's not what this is about, dog. Like, again, like, there's 1,000 different ways to do 1,000 different things. And instead, it's just like, no, we got to go through this land here, and we have to poison. Like, we promise we're not gonna poison the water. Like, you just did it last time when you promised you weren't gonna poison the water. Like, I know, but we're pretty sure we got it nailed down now. Like, you don't, and you just don't. And regardless, like, it just boggles my mind. Like, even, you know, where I grew up, there was a time when it was like, hey, yeah, we're gonna put this mine through here. And nobody really said anything until my dad jokingly lied to some guy and then got too busy to tell the guy the truth. It was like, oh yeah, he's like, they're actually, you know, they're extending it all back through up here, and they're cutting right through Joey's property there. All those houses, like, oh my god, like they can't do that. That's crazy. Like, that's, you know, because that's where my friends live. Is why it was a problem for this guy. And my dad was like, yeah, exactly. Like, it shouldn't matter to you where it's going. It's still where somebody lives, is the point I was trying to make. But I got busy with my job, trying to make sure everybody is on the road and, you know, doing whatever they can to be a jerk to other people. But yeah, it's that this weird mentality that it is like, I don't. I mean, I understand. Like, I get where it comes from in that. People have this built in, like, this is my family, this is my, you know, this is my little pod here, and I will defend it with my life. I will stand up to whatever type of violence, tyranny, zombies. Like, I am ready to murder and destroy anybody who gets in the way of the sanctity and safety and well-being of this little group of people here, no matter how big or small it is. My whole family of 57 people, my immediate family of just the 4 of us in this little house here, just my girlfriend that I met on Tinder 4 days ago, like, whatever. Like, people have, you know, their delusions of grandeur and I'm gonna say in miniature, but it amazes me that people don't have the ability to take that feeling that they have for protecting their own little group and extending that over to somebody else and going, yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from, and it only makes sense that, like, yeah, sorry boss, I'm not coming into work today, or yeah, of course you're blocking the trains, because it's 2020. It's 2020, and it's about time. It was about time 20 years ago, but it's really about time now. Like, it's the future. People are getting ready to jack into the computers, and there's robotic arms, and there's robots that can do backflips. Like, there's robots that can do backflips, but we still have a bunch of people that are like, no, I think it's better that we just destroy these guys, even though they're really, really putting up putting in all of the effort to say, no, you can't park here, you can't dump here, you can't pipe through here. Please just don't. Like, please. Don't make us have to fight you. And, you know, we've shown through history that the only way to get what you need is to fight for it, sadly. And all of the white people that are in charge need to take their 2020 and check their hindsight and look at all the just like, yeah, do you feel good? Do you feel good about all of the times? All of the times somebody decided, no, this particular group of people are not people, and yeah, we're going to put them in these residential schools. Yeah, we're going to tear them away from their families. Yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to blah, 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 blah. And it just doesn't stop until like literally it's like a few months ago, a few weeks ago, a few whatever. There's always another thing where it's just like, seriously, like we didn't learn from 4 months ago. We're not learning from years ago. We're not learning from whatever. It's just like, this is insane. Like, this is insane to me that to so many people in Canada, of all places, that on every other, TV network country that is just like, hey, here's our Canada joke. They're just real nice and they support each other. Oh, I went to Canada and they were just real nice and supporting each other. Hey, I just go to Canada and it's like I was hungry and I had nothing, so somebody fed me and gave me some nice clean water because it's just a nice clean place with the natural springs and skiing. I don't know, but whatever. It's just like, how? Like, just how you can get this far in the world and still just be like, no, but I still don't see it. I got to do my job to deal with my family. Like, yeah, well, if and when the day comes when somebody's trying to destroy your water supply, and there's a whole group of people over here that is like, yeah, we remember the last 5 times you wouldn't help us, and whatever. Like Thanksgiving is a day where most people think it's all about how the natives came and said, hey, look at you guys. You're too stupid to feed yourselves. We're going to help you teach you men to fish, and you need to eat your corn, and we're going to feed you, and we're going to help you. And then for some reason, it's like we still have Thanksgiving. And I don't know what most people think it is. I definitely don't know what most people are celebrating other than it's when we have turkey. And I don't know, maybe some kids get a new bike for some reason. Because it's like, no, it's about that time that your nation was birthed because somebody else, some other nation of nurse-type people who cared, came in and were like, yo, we're going to keep this stupid baby alive so it can grow up and stab us in the back. But that's why I don't like children in general. I just see every child as, hey, I'm just keeping you alive so someday you can stab me in the back. Also, dogs. Keeping you alive so that someday you can eat my face when I'm asleep. But the other thing that upset me so much, where I'm like, because normally I do the like, oh well, unfollow you on Facebook, and I'm like, unfriend. I don't want to just remain friends. Like, I don't want to have contact with this person anymore. I'm not going to take the time to keep harping on them. Like, that's just not a thing that I do anymore. I do this. So if people want to stroll into this, then yeah, every once in a while, I get a little truthy. But the other one was, and it's just like, it's certain things break your brain, and you start to rationalize, like, oh, obviously this is hey, here's a post that's like, this is dumb, right? Because when somebody posts a thing, and not only is it nonsense McAwful, but it's also got the Trump seal of approval with his face on it, like, here's my big weird mouth, saying it, and they're like, yeah, what he said. Like, nobody should ever say what he said and be like, that's what I agree with. But it was a whole, I can't even remember now. Like, there's so many different races that people hate for so many different reasons, but I believe it was like, hey, Muslim people, why don't you, nobody asked you to come here to do your whatever it is we're upset about, so why don't you go back? If you want to do that so bad, go back there, when it's probably just something as simple as praying, when I'm also just like, yeah, I don't ask regular ass white people that pray to whatever it is around here to go pray into that, but yeah, go for it. I can sit at a table with like my family who's like half of them going to church, half of them not going to church, half of them talking about this, half of them talking about that, and they never get into a race war fight. It's just, yep, that's what we're all doing. That's all it is. Meanwhile, on Facebook, it's, oh, these people are over here praying differently than how I'm praying. Like, but what you're saying, though, is they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're just saying different words. And, I mean, it is the same as, like, hey, these fellas over here are listening to rap music when I'm listening to country music. Therefore, that can't be, like, no, once again, you're both doing the exact same thing. You're listening to to people talk about either their great times or their rough times in musical form. No difference. No difference other than you being racist. But yeah, people don't like to share. I don't like to share. I'm terrible at sharing. That's why I have a little show by myself and share it with things whose mouths I can fill with my own words. But speaking of sharing, though, accidental but great segue. Yeah, pretty much a great segue. You're kind of great at the Thegway, really. I mean, if Thegway was the thing you could ride around and enter rooms with, that is how you would enter rooms, because you'd be like, da-da-da-da, I've got a great Thegway into this room, me on a Thegway. And that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. I would be fantastic. There's no way I'm ever trying to segue. That thing looks terrible and dangerous. But yeah, I do share this show. No such thing as Grown Ups is not just my empire, it's also Tara's. And we do a podcast every weekish. Again, all at the .com. And in in Miramichi, on the 29th of this month, there's going to be like a fan fest, like the Chi-Con like fest, like a comic festival. And Ryan McCafferty, what it do? And yeah, so Tara's is helping, or maybe she's doing the whole thing. She's setting up like a thing in Miramichi, where, you know, there'll be people selling their artwork and books and all that stuff. And at Tara's table, her artwork sales, the profits from her sales, that's proper sentencing, will go to the words I can't say. It will go to help the native water protectors out in BC, out west. So I very much encourage, if you are in the Miramichi area, definitely go down there and definitely throw your money at that table, because that's a great thing to do. Anybody who is willing to take away from their own income and give it to something that actually needs it is always amazing to me. Just always just magical and amazing in a world where everybody is kind of struggling, or most people are struggling in some way, shape, or form, you know, to make it through the day. Lots of people with multiple jobs and whatever. I could list weird situations of things that people are trying to deal with just to make it through the day. Some of them of your own devising, and some of them are just like, yeah, that's just the way the world is. Stuff comes up and you got to deal with it. But it's just so nice that after, you know, immediately after the, oh my god, I can't believe somebody like posted this Trump thing. Like, you're, especially somebody in Canada, like, no, I thought, you know, we don't all agree that this isn't bananas? This is definitely bananas. This is no bananas. And then, yeah, it's just like, hey, by the way, like, all of my proceeds, and here's a print that I did. If you want to use it for free for your stuff, like, yeah, just DM me and I'll send you different sizes, blah, 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 blah. So that's just awesome. That in an internet full of just hate criming, there's so much of it that I forget anyway, that you forget. It's also just filled with people that are just like, oh, I'm just filling it up with stuff that I'm trying to do and be helpful with. I mean, you know, for the love of God, like, I'm over here, like, this is my thing. This is my the good thing that I'm trying to fill the internet up with is just like just making stuff and reminding people that, hey, instead of going after somebody, instead of trying to take down somebody you think should be doing something differently, there's a pretty good chance that you could be doing something differently with your time and just make something. Like, and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, God knows that there's a whole world, there's a whole internet full of children, a whole TikTok full of children that are TikToking their life away, and half of them, at least, let's say 90% of them, are just, I really don't know what TikTok is. I think it's just Vine, again, but they're just doing dances and little magic tricks and just little skits with themselves, and like, and that's awesome. Like, that's awesome. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't cause any trouble. And I mean, you know, the news, every time I see the news for 2 seconds, they're always like, oh, a new dangerous TikTok trend. Like, it's not a TikTok trend. There's a bunch of terrible people out there with terrible ideas, and then for some reason they become, oh, it's an internet challenge. Like, it's not an internet challenge. It's some people that are jerks that are jumping on the jerk train. You know, it's the exact same thing of like, hey, there's a new challenge out there called the Stab and Steal Challenge. People are challenging themselves to, you know, go into stores, convenience stores, stabbing the clerk and stealing something, and that's the challenge. Like, no, that's assault, and that's the jerk train. Come on, ride it. Come on, ride the jerk train. Should ride it. But yeah, I can't remember what the last one was. It's just like, hey, here's a TikTok thing. Like, get your friend to stand up and be like, I'm going to be in your TikTok. And then you, like, leg sweep them until they get a concussion. And what was the other one? Sticking metal in a plug socket to see the spark or see the whatever it was. Just like, yeah, parents, you can blame the internet for that one all you want. But I'm sorry. I was raised in a household where there's no way in any universe where I'd be like, no, I'm gonna go complete the circuit over here. Again, in a world with the internet where it's like you could, you know, if the kid can find the challenge on the internet, they can also very quickly like, hey, what happens when you complete a circuit? Oh, things get fried. So they were like frying their phones, whatever it was. They were completing the connection between their phone and making it spark, but a lot of phones were, you know, melting or exploding or whatever. And the Tide Pod one, that one I'm still okay with. That one is like, I feel like that was mostly adults and not even kids. That's just, yep, everyone is just stupid enough to eat stuff that looks like candy because everyone is just stupid. But yeah, all those other ones are just like, nope. I feel like most of the parent-kid combinations that I meet, I'm like, yeah, this kid is definitely not going to go electrocuting himself or leg sweeping somebody because their mom and or dad is just a reasonable person that's teaching this kid to be a reasonable person. And then there's a bunch of other people that are literally just like staring at their phone and screaming at a thing, and then in the distance may or may not be their actual child. But it's like, whatever. I did what I could. I yelled something that might have had to do with whatever it was. And, you know, those people live in, they used to live in the next yard over there until the police kept showing up until, you know, they were evicted. And who knows, maybe those kids were taken away. I don't know. I don't know. So many people say it. It's been said so many times, so many ways. Marriage license, stupid. Who cares? Everybody get married 16 times a day. Doesn't matter. All the stuff that you're going is stupid. That's stupid. You should have a financial combining license. Something like that. That's just like, no. You guys, this isn't going to work. You guys don't know how to work money. No, you can't have a license to get married for that reason. You can't have a financial unioning license. And then, of course, the child rearing license. Like, yeah, you had the kid, but no, you clearly can't pass the basic tests to take care of this thing. Like, that's appalling and wrong. But, you know, we've all seen the American news, and crime is legal now, so who knows? Who knows what means anything anymore? It makes the most sense. And, like, the fact that I'm responding to what Pat just said, of course. Like, the fact that every time the whole, like, male birth control and or just that thing, like, yeah, everyone gets fixed until you're ready to do the thing. Like, raise a child, I mean. They're like, oh, no, how dare you? Because it's like, most people seem to want... Like, no, that's my reason for, like, growing up and being a reasonable person. Like, once I'm chosen to be responsible for a small child by magic, when it's like, it's not magic anymore, though, guys. Again, it's 2020. Hindsight. We know where babies come from, and if you don't, oh my god, then you can't have a TikTok account. Like, I started to say way earlier, and then I got lost in the drawing. I noticed that I always assume everyone's getting pregnant in the pool. That's how you stay safe in life. I was planning on spending the weekend working on at least setting up, formatting the new comic so I can get it into like book form and send it off to get printed, or at least see how many more pages I should put in there before I feel satisfied with it as a comic book or a small graphic novel. So I found like some old files of a bunch of other like me and Milo comics that I did a long time ago. Threw some of them just straight in the garbage. Like, no, you're not even getting reworked. Some of them I'm just slightly adjusted so they fit into the square format. And some other ones where I'm like, oh, okay, I'll rewrite this for sure. But I was still just like, ugh, move a few things around, then go take another 4-hour nap. Drink over here. I've been so thirsty for so long. I can't believe this is empty. But yeah, in doing that, I was thought like, oh wow, like Milo and me especially, but like are drawn so differently than they are here, which is still fine because like even within the starting of these first few, the design changes all over the place, and again that was that's kind of the reason I wanted to do this, where it was like, no, this is just my fun drawing. However the characters end up looking, that's how they end up looking. No model sheets. It's not a cartoon. I don't care. It's fun. So, and once I just started like drawing Milo there, I'm like, oh my god, I was like, I think I'm drawing Milo how I used to draw him just after looking at those few pages. But I think this weekend I'm going to see what I can do to probably put together another book to send off to the printers so that the next week, or at least the week after that, I can start going to the market again with something new. And then start something else, or get back onto doing the Sexy Dinosaur Book 3, etc. But regardless, I've always got something to do besides enacting hate crimes and, you know, starting trouble with people. Or even just reading Facebook. Like literally, I'll throw on Facebook and just be like, oh yeah. I'll see like 3 people's posts. It's usually Space Goonies and a mix of like 3 or 4 other people. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, yep, your kids are still doing good. Yep, you're setting up this thing. That's all I needed to know. Or, that's the little bit that I don't get from Instagram, but thankfully most people put their stuff on Instagram, so I don't have to really delve into Facebook that much. Because it is just mostly a wretched hive of scum and villainy, the likes of which no little Skywalker has ever seen. Hands getting cut off left, right, and center. Even like, and I say that, like, I know like Space Goonies posting like, hey, the antique shop I work at, here's a bunch of cool stuff, and here's the things that I made. It's like, yep, there's people like that are just still using their Facebook for good things. Like Space Goonies' mom shares the posts about this stream sometimes, which blows my mind every single time. And something about that is just like, that's the best. Like, that's the best. You know, I know that I've met Space Goonies' mom for, you know, like maybe a minute. She probably couldn't point me out in a lineup. And yeah, she just shares everything because she knows that her kids aren't garbage. So it's okay to like share their things that they're into. And plus, I think there's a good chance that Space Goonies' mom's walls are filled with my art. I don't know. I'm pretty sure a few different people have paid me money to put art on her walls. But yeah, there's just so much intermixed with that where even just a simple, hey, I made something, here's my post, like, oh, that's great. And then there's still going to be a bunch of just random people that are like, but actually, have you thought about how I can be racist over here? And it's just like, well, just don't. Just don't. Like, yeah, but I can because it's Facebook and, you know, I don't actually do work all day. I just wreak havoc on the internet. And somehow that, you know, we live in that world. Like, I work all day, and somehow other people have all the time to just F around on Facebook. And I don't know. I just don't know how that is. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. I don't know what. I think it was one of the big fat quizzes of the year, or of the century, or of the whatever. But it's just like, it has clips of stuff from throughout the year and trivia about all the stuff. And one of the things was this guy. I don't remember what country it was. I feel like it was American. Maybe it was British, but I think it was an American clip. And I definitely talked about this. This guy had to be, you know, he was at least in his 30s, if not his 40s. Okay? And he was like at his like little computer desk that I had, you know, when I was in grade 6, and he's in the middle of like the basement. Clearly you can see like the stairs going up. This definitely isn't his basement. It is absolutely his mom's basement. And the thing that he's like excited about telling the news, he's not ashamed about telling the news, but he's just like, oh geez, like when a meme war breaks out, like, you gotta be ready. You gotta have the memes. And they don't have the memes that I have. I've got the memes and I'm ready and I know where they are. I can have them up in 2 seconds. I'm memeing. Like, they're posting a meme. I've got 5 memes on top of that. I'm just like, the things that you're saying right now don't make any sense. And I don't mean it in the terms of just like, what's a meme? I mean in the terms I'm just like, it's just a fight for the sake of fighting with other people's content. Like, I mean, it's the same as having a what would be a sometimes you start a metaphor before you think of a metaphor. It is like having a hockey card fight. I've got a pile of hockey cards. I've got a couple of good hockey cards too. And then it's just like, huh? Gretzky, like, Gretzky, you kidding me? Mario Lemieux? Oh, Mario Lemieux? Sidney Crosby. Oh, Sidney Crosby. I think I have a, Patrick Waugh. Ah, that's another one. Those are real hockey player names for sure. And then I'm out. Whatever. Then this guy's like, but I've got a lot of your. And it's just like, yeah. What? Like, what? Go play Pokemon. Just go play Pokemon. All of these people are just playing troll Pokemon. That's what it is. Instead of getting themselves a Pokemon game and Pokemoning, you can still play Pokemon with people now. There's all the mobile games out there. You can just go to war with people in an imaginary war world now. Just go do that. Just go do that. But instead, there's a heap of helping of people. That is their jam. So the saves, Apple tab. Hey, but what about the question that is, why do you like making little comic strips and little shows and sometimes jokes that are, you know, specifically designed just to, I don't know, rattle people, maybe upset them slightly? Yeah, that's true. I mean, literally in the Milo meme thing, the whole point of that, there again, the most of it was going to be me yelling back at the meme lady and just like in the same pose, and this, I you know, changed it a little bit to be more about like, oh, it's just Milo being a jerk, and that's his thing. It's just he's a jerk, and yeah, like sometimes you're just making things just for the sake of like, yeah, this is my commentary grenade. And you know, you wanna see the aftermath. But I don't know, I feel like mostly I'm always trying to make it something that's still fun. Fun for the whole family? Not for the whole family, but still at least something non-offensive fun. Silliness for the sake of silliness. Oh, Milo, you're way too tall here. You crazy? There you go. I can't select what I want. Oh, wrong camera. Sometimes you go to the wrong camera because it's fun to switch cameras. Production value, drawing camera. I saw a headline that said Flat Earther died in a rocket accident when he tried to use his own rocket that he made to prove the Earth was flat, that he was gonna, I guess, fly up in his rocket and be like, I don't trust your NASA rockets. You're just showing us the fake flat Earth not the dome that it actually is. So I'm going to fly up there, risk bouncing off the dome, and then, yeah, his homemade rocket didn't work. Like, I think I had a period of time where, you know, the internet just started being like, hey, here's a bunch of documentaries, here's a bunch of stuff, like, I made this, I did the research, I found the facts, and, you know, loose changing and whatever, where it was just like, oh my god, like, yeah, there's an awful lot of secrets out there that we really don't know what's going on with, and I believe all of this stuff, like, and by all of this I mean I don't believe anything anymore. Everything truly is a scam. And then after a certain point, I was like, oh yeah, no, there's an awful lot of research being done, and most of that is kind of really fact checked and back checked, and these people seem pretty reputable, and I don't know, like, you know, my conspiracy goes too deep to be that simple. Oh, fantastic. People are geniuses. But yeah, when I'm just like, yeah, like, it's, why wouldn't the government keep so many things secret from us? We are too stupid to handle this. Like, just too much precedent to set where it's like, people go nuts for the dumbest things. I mean, let us not stop and take any time to think about how, oh my god, like, what do you mean Twinkies is shutting down? Like, we can't let Twinkies shut down. Like, you can. You totally can. It doesn't actually matter at all. Everyone will get over not having Twinkies, like, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, in 4 weeks, people will forget. And in 6 months, people are like, oh yeah, I forgot about that thing. Oh, Steve saved a bunch. It's like, oh, cool. Steve's one of those weirdos because it's just refined sugar in the shape of a little wiener. Like, if anything, just be more homophobic and let the Twinkie go away instead of going after everything. And I mean, we've got, like, the pastry world is filled with all kinds of things. And I don't know if I've ever actually, I think I might have had a Twinkie once and was like, oh, yeah, I get how this is good. And then, you know, 2 bites in, oh yeah, I can feel this inside of my teeth. This is too much. If I want to feel this way, I want the deliciousness of a Joe Louis, for sure. That is the jam. But most, not to be starting off with, I'm so upset that everyone's racist, but let's end with, here's my racism of the day. American confectionaries are mostly awful compared to Canadian ones. In some cases, wow, this is the same chocolate bar that I know and love, except it's 6 times bigger, or it comes in a sleeve of 7 for the price of what I would pay for one chocolate bar. That's magical. But a lot of times it is just like, the ingredient blue is there's a lot of blue ingredient in this, and this thing isn't even blue. What's up with this? What's up with this? Passion fruit. There's passion fruit. Is that the one? It's like a nice, it's the flaky pastry with a tiny little bit of like raspberry or passion fruit in the middle of it. In that case, no. But only because I usually don't like flaky pastry, and most pastry-ish stuff. That's not really my jam. Even if it's like phyllo chicken and whatnot, people are like, "Oh, you're gonna love this." Am I? Oh, this phyllo pastry is amazing. It does look amazing. It's so soft and flaky, but so much flakiness in my mouth. I know I wanted the chicken. There's like a tiny little piece of chicken in here. This is just This is a chicken in a haystack. No, I didn't want haystack chicken. I wanted the chicken. And keep that pastry for dessert. But that's me. Just not a pastry person. But every once in a while, like, you know, once a summer or once a winter, you will be at a place where it's just like, hey, do you want one of these passion flakes or some other flaky pastry? It's the flakiest of pastries. And same as the Twinkie. First bite, oh wow. Oh wow. Just like that first bite of that phyllo pastry chicken. Why aren't you sampling? There we go. This is superlicious. And then again, second bite is the so much pastry, so much flakes. Oh, Pat is obviously a flaky pastry person. Pat Flaky Pastry. Couldn't do it. Pat Flaky Pastry Prouse. He's proud of his flaky pastry. He's proud of it in his house. He doesn't need your approval. He's Flaky Pastry Prouse. That's mostly my thing too. Like most desserty things, I only like a few. So it's hard to peg me down. Like I say that I hate going out to eat with people. But the reason is not because I hate everything. It's because I care about everything. And it's just like, oh, you like this. You like that. I don't want you to, you know, it's like when I try to show somebody, you know, hey, check out this TV show or check out this thing. And if they don't like, excuse me, I feel super bad. It's been a million years since I had a McDonald's apple pie. I do know that those were good. I don't know what they're like anymore, though. But there was a time when it was just like, oh, wow, I can't believe I haven't been eating these my whole life. This is insane. But I don't understand. I don't know much. But I went to have some more soup today. And I had a can of chicken soup. And it's one of those chicken soups that are like hearty. I don't remember what kind it is. But, you know, it's got chicken in it. It's got carrots, maybe some celery, and noodles. And I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to have to replace this can of soup instead of eating it, right? I'm almost definitely going to have to throw this out. And then looked at the date like, oh, 2021. That's a wicked long ways away. How is that possible? I don't understand anything. There's no way you could just keep chicken in a can for a year. But there's canned chicken, and that looks disgusting, but... But anyway, that's the first part of this Billy Zane semi-epic Billy Zaning story. I definitely had 100 other things that I wanted to talk about, and I just didn't. When you got weird racism and just the fear of society on your mind, it's hard to just, like, drift over into something else. Like, for example, I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted. And why? From sleep, but not in that way where it's just like, oh, you know when you sleep too much and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to keep doing this. You just turn into a sleep monster. It's just like, you know, you're just taking Dayquil, NyQuil, intermittently and trying to get rest. And like right now, I'm not like exhausted. I mean, like just especially like Saturday and Sunday, I was so happy when I realized, oh, thank God I don't have to go to work. Because, you know, when I go to sleep filled with Dayquil, NyQuil, whichever, it just becomes dream time. And as we already discussed, my dreams are just exhausting. So I wake up and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Oh, no wonder I was just trying to get to bed throughout that whole dream, and I just remember it all. So it's like I just did 6 hours up and down the stairs trying to find my apartment. I couldn't find my apartment, and now I got to get up and go to work. Like, I cannot believe I don't like. I really wish I could be like, hey, dear supervisor or whatever. I dreamed too hard last night. Like, I don't want to have to explain this, but I dreamed way too hard last night. So, I'm gonna have to just go to bed today. Is that cool? Because sometimes I dream too hard at night, and it's too weird to try to explain that to people. But I'm like, I dreamed too hard last night, and like both Saturday and Sunday, maybe even Monday. But like just had this long, where it's like it's just never ending. But it started with like, all right, I guess I'm just unloading everything I own from this cabin, hotel, motel, I don't know. But I'm like, everything I own pretty much is here. I hope it all fits in the suitcase. Get it half filled, then like I'm on the phone, like, wait, do I have this room tonight again? Because if I do, I'm going straight to bed right now. I really need the rest. It's been a long day. Do I? And then, you know, one of those things where it's just like, okay, here's what I heard. Red letter light bulb? Do I have the room or not? Okay, yeah, it's, you're just going to have to speak louder and clearly. There's not a good connection. Clearly you can hear me, but I am hearing giraffe, saber-tooth, and that can't be the words that you were saying. And this is not how a phone is shaped anymore. And we just do. We need sick days. So, I don't know, within that dream, then I'm just like, I ended up out of the room when I'm like, okay, I do have the room for the night. I don't have to finish packing, but now there's people coming and going. Who are these people? What is even happening? And then next thing I know, there's like another call, like, yeah, like, well, you have to share the room. I'm like, oh, well, this place is huge anyway, so I guess that's fine. And it seems like it's going to be somebody that I know. And like 2 seconds later, like, click, phone hangs up, like, oh, they're already at the door. Weird. Open the door, like, oh, I didn't expect it to be you, Heather. Like, person I worked with 1,000 years ago. Yeah. So we're gonna be like, so my room is in this one, and then somebody else comes out from behind me, like, no, actually, this is my room in here. So I think you're in another place. And I'm like, no, I didn't leave here. So this is still the room / it was like a suite with multiple rooms in it. It was huge, like a cabin. And I'm like, so this is the place, like, for sure. So she's like, all right, cool. And then when she comes in, she has like a full-size bear. I mean, like, just a big brown bear that's, you know, on all fours, but still like almost 5 feet tall. And it's like, do. And I'm like, what's happening? Is this real? Is this a real bear? Is this animatronics? Because, like, you know, she's into, like, visual effects stuff. Like, maybe it's a puppet, but it seems like a real bear. Or a dog that's like, sometimes people have those animals that you are like, is this a dog? Or are you letting a wild animal into my home? And then turns out it's like, yeah, no, this is, it's a bear. But he's fine. And then it totally like pins you up against the sink. And I'm just like, this camera doesn't automatically change. But the same way I am when a big dog comes in, like, is this gonna kill me? Or should I just pet it and treat it like it's a normal, happy animal? And then I am just like, like, the bear is okay. But it's still like playfully, happily just moving. But it's like giant hands and claws. And like, I get that you guys are totally cool with this, but I really don't want to show this thing that I'm super scared and upset, but I'm very scared and upset, and if that triggers the pheromones and whatnot, and I get my face clawed off, I don't want that to happen. How do I get out of this bear? And by now, the place is filled like it's a family kitchen party of people I don't recognize. And I'm like, oh, so this is how I die then. at the back of a loud party, just accidentally swiped by a bear, when they're like, oh, of all the people, the guy who was most afraid of things get killed by a bear that we definitely shouldn't have brought inside. So at some point, there's some movement, and I managed to get out of there, and then I'm like out of that room and trying to find my room, and I'm like, oh, actually wasn't in this cabin complex at all, because I don't recognize the rooms anymore, and I can't find my stuff. So I'm going from room to room. My family is flooding in. Everywhere I go, there's dogs and children, and dogs and children, and they keep coming to me of just like, hey, are you going to deal with us? Like, no, what? I guess so. Is anybody going to deal with these dogs and children? Like, whose dog or children are you? And they just are swarming. I'm just like, no. I'm like, okay, now I have to find my room because I'm just going to go home. I don't care how late it is and how tired I am. I just want to go home and get away from all these dogs and children. And I'm sure I was asleep and the dogs across the hall were probably barking. And I'm always trying to avoid children in my dreams and in real life. So I'm just like running back and forth from complex to complex until I'm like, because I'm finding my family is there. And it's like, is this a family gathering? Is it the end of it or the beginning of it? I don't know. I keep passing Bill Murray. He seems to be doing the same thing I'm doing. Looking for something or some way out of there. Because he's like, ugh, can you believe all this hubbub? I'm like, yeah, I can't believe this. But we just cross paths as if like, do we know each other? I don't think we know each other. And I don't mention to anybody, guys, you know Bill Murray's staying here. Don't say it to anybody. Like, I'm so concerned with the fact that, like, I just kind of want to go lay down. And I end up, you know, roaming around. And there's beach area, there's water, you know, which I'm like, oh, there's going to be sharks. There's always sharks to deal with. So I'm like trying to get those dogs away from the water. They're going to get eaten by the sharks. There's other wild animals. Get the dogs away from there. And at one point, there's like these 2 or 3 kids, and the dogs are coming towards me, and there's like this platform, and there's 2 old men at the top of the platform. And they're like, hey, like, you can come up here. And I'm like, hey, yeah, kids, go to your grandpa. And one of the kids is like, which one? I'm like, I don't care. I don't know who your grandpa is. I don't know who you kids are. Why you come to me instead of just go to those strange old men? And then I felt a little bit guilty, and it's just like, hey, yeah, like, you're their grandpa, right? And the grandpas are like, yeah, can your grandfather do this? Hey, oh. Simpsons reference. And then they go off, and eventually I end up in a place with a bunch of my family, and I'm like, does anybody know where my room is? It was like, I think it was number 4. I think I was in building 4. And some of my relatives are like, just have fun. Like, we're all going to be leaving at the same time tomorrow. There's this, there's that, go have some food over there. I'm like, I'm not looking for food. I want to find my room. Everything I own is in that room for some reason, and I'm only like mid-pack, and I just need to finish organizing my stuff. Like, if anybody here cares about me and how I function, I need to complete this task, and then maybe I can relax. And somebody's like, hey, like, just relax. And I'm just like, no. You want to know the real? I just want to go to my room and maybe lay down for a little bit and get away from all these children and dogs. I don't know who here owns all these children and dogs, but everybody please take care of your children and dogs and stop making me feel guilty about not taking care of your children and dogs. I think I was in number 4. Can anybody help me out? I feel lost and confused. And out of the throng of people, my aunt was like, oh yeah, here's the key to number 4. And I'm like, thank you. Oh my God, somebody. Oh my God. So I take the key and I start to go back to number 4. And no need to put this part in, but for some reason, I don't know, in dreams especially, I always slide downstairs. I do it in real life occasionally on certain sets of stairs, or at least I used to. I haven't really come across a set of stairs that I can do that with, but certain, especially carpeted stairs, you angle your feet just right, you hold onto the railing, and sometimes not even with the railing, you just balance real good, and you just ski down the stairs. Of all the people to do that, it makes no sense. It's not a fast thing, but it's just nice, gentle little slide down, and it's something that I do. But in Dreamland, I do it all the time. So I slide down, and then as I get to the bottom, the spider sense goes off, and I realized that oh, like my dad is following me, and you know, normally in my dreams, as of late, it's always, you know, some like borderline, almost dead, very sick version of my dad. But he's just doing stuff like regular, but it's just like, which is what he did before he died. Where it's like, can you just lay down before you break into pieces? Like, no, I don't want to. Like, I can understand that, but you're gonna break into pieces. Like, that's how I break into pieces. That's how I break into pieces. So I turn around, and he's sliding down. And I mean, he's wearing like hospital type gear. He's still got some hoses on him. And I'm like, what are you doing? And like, and he's so small at this point that I do just kind of like small as in like skinny and frail. And I just kind of catch him and I like sit him down like, you can't do that. And I guess like this is definitely, you know, some sort of dream thing of telling myself like, yes, go lay down. Don't overexert yourself like your dad. And, but I'm just like, I'm trying to. So I was like, all right. I was like, don't slide downstairs. He's like, I just wanted to go outside for a minute. Like, that's fine. Please make sure somebody is around with you. I'm going back to my room or whatever. Like, all right, buddy, yeah, like, go ahead. Don't worry about me. Like, duh. So then again, I go to try and find my room, but it's just like stairs. There's so many stairs. I'm just like, at one point, I'm at the bottom of a set of stairs, and I'm like, there's so many stairs, and I'm so tired. And I remember looking up the stairs and thinking, this is a dream. This is definitely a dream. Bill Murray. Couldn't read my phone. Couldn't understand that phone call. Bear in the room. This is a dream. This is a dream. And fully like locked in, like this memory is there. Like this is what I thought in the dream world of just like, well, I can either fight it right now on the stairs, and I could be that guy, and then the dream people come out, and they see me just going like, wake up! Wake up! And I just, you know, wake up, trying to do all the weird things that I think might wake me up. Or, you know what? I'm just going to try and maybe I can get some extra sleep. If I can make it back to my room before I wake up, I'm going to get some sleep within sleep here. One more set of stairs. One more set of stairs. Let's do this. And I remember walking for a little bit and then waking up here and going, it was a dream. I'm so tired. Oh my God. Like, oh my God. And I can only imagine just imagine what it takes to listen to somebody tell their dream. You do realize the irony of what you're saying. Yes, I know exactly what I'm saying. The effort that it takes to listen to somebody tell their stupid dream of stupid nonsense and non-connecting Harry Potter stairs, and that's how I wake up, where I'm just like, I am drenched in sweat, and I have gone nowhere, and I didn't actually meet Bill Murray. And even in the dream, I didn't take the time to stop and meet Bill Murray. So I had a bunch of those. I have a bunch of those that I won't tell you all about because they're just stupid dream nonsense, even though in my world, they all connect and they solidify so well that like that dream was fine. And the other one, which was still, again, about trying to get to sleep, was amazing. Actually, again, there's always a celebrity that shows up. But Jake Gyllenhaal loves cartoons. That's what I know. Jake Gyllenhaal loves to look at cartoons, and he'll wander up to whatever office / room there is, even though I don't know Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know who he knows at this party, but here he is, and he's like, yeah, just show me that. Like, no, that's just a thing I'm working on. I'm trying to get back to work here, Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure what time it is, but you know what? Yeah, okay. I don't know nothing about Jake. Fine. You're a pretty nice guy, Jake Gyllenhaal. You're a pretty nice guy. So, dream book. But that's, most of my dreams end up in my poetry books at some point in time, in some way, shape, or form. But this has been a show. I managed to drag out the end of this for a little while. That's today, or at least the first part of this comic. This will drift on to a bunch more Billy Zanings, and then we'll get into the Jamiroquai paradox, which I think is going to be funny. just like Billy Zane, I think Jamiroquai is a fun word, but I think the twist in this one will be delightful. But yeah, like I said, I feel better now. Like, I don't actually feel that bad now. Yesterday, when work ended, I was just like, oh my god, like, I feel like drawing. And I have the energy to do so. And I immediately started drawing, and then I stopped for a minute, got something to eat, do. So yeah, that's why I got a cat person over there. It's a commission I'll have to revise, but pretty fun. And you know, whatever, doing stuff is good. But yeah, mostly it's just my head just still has some of that mucus and slight bit of pressure in it. So after talking for a little while, you know, the Milo voice is, you know, on 40%, whether I want it to be or not. So what is this? Is it the 112% or 75%? Because if you're already Milo voicing and then you're adding a Milo voice on top of that, what's the math on that? The math on that is, yeah, when I start Milo voicing on top of my already sinusy thing, because I'm like forcing extra sinusiness when I do the Milo, I can really feel, like, I can actually, it just feels like, you know, you know, it's somewhere in the back of my head, I picture the TJ Miller Mucinex snot bubble, except it's more Milo shaped. And it's just as if Milo does have his own voice, and he's just right there, and my sinus is just being, this is bizarre. Like, this is bizarre. Am I in here now? And I've just really pictured that, like, just a lost little Milo in my sinuses. And, you know, that's why I hate a lot of my characters, because I associate them with the pressure they cause to make their voices happen. I'm still here, doing nothing in particular. Anyway, let's all say goodnight, Sarah. I think we've all grown tired of your nonsense and eccentricities. Hey, I'm Batman. What if I whisper in my gravelly voice? Do I just become that guy, Whistler? I think I'm just Whistler now. Oh, you switched to the wrong camera. Now it's with me again. Anyway, hey, camera 2, camera 1. Good night, everybody. Thanks for following along with drawing stuff and telling weird stories. And, of course, my anti-racial rants, which for some reason I think are exactly as subversive as racial rants, because of the racial economy of the world right now, because of the Trumping of the world. And, again, like so many things where he's just still doing the thing that they were indicting him for. And it's like, no, that's what I can do. That's what I learned. And yeah, that's what we taught him. That's what we taught him. Nobody learns. All right. Good night. Talk to you guys next Tuesday. Always swing by the Instagram for updates about stuff that's going on. And there is no such thing. There's no such thing as Grown Ups Facebook. And credits, Ripley? Hey, sweet angel, you want to hit those sweet credits, and then we'll go to bed. That had to be annoying. Being annoying for the sake of it, 'cause we don't